Hi everybody, this is Cynthia Kane again for UL100ZB. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through the engagement activity and the two learning assessments that will be due for this week, week 6, that's covering recommended resources and global perspectives upon information and technology. So we're going to start with our module. Remember, as always, we say that it is essential that you watch the tutorial, in this case, the Global Perspectives on Information and Technology, and watch this tutorial all the way through for the engagement and learning assessments. If you do this, you're going to have a much better chance of success the first time around for the engagement activity and the learning assessments, as opposed to doing the learning assessments and then having them returned to you as incomplete. So please watch both of these tutorials very carefully. Let's go ahead and start with our engagement activity. It's actually first time around. And with this one, after you watch the video tutorial about global perspectives on information and technology, we really want you to think about the fact that a lot of other countries have limitations when it comes to internet access, basic aspects of technology. Think about what's covered in the video tutorial in terms of some countries leapfrogging over others when it comes to access to technology, and also think about ideas such as the digital divide, not only within the United States, but between the United States and other countries. You can look at all of these different links to give you a better sense of what is going on in other countries. This video is really interesting to watch too, because you'll notice that there are actually other countries that are a little bit more advanced, that are a little bit more digital savvy than even the United States would be. And we have more information here about the Great Firewall in China and information imperialism. What we would like for you to do is choose at least one of these linked resources. Read them through carefully, review them, and then write a discussion post in which you're responding to one or more of these resources. And we want you to, in your post, respond to two or more of these following points. So you don't have to answer all of these points, but you do need to pick two or more that actually really that you can respond to, perhaps that you can identify with, and that relate to at least one or more of these linked resources. And remember that to get full points for posts in this discussion, you are going to have to reference at least one of the above sources. And we have some more as well, talking about Google Fiber and the White House brief on the U.S. digital divide. So again, please look at this very carefully. Respond to at least one of these outside sources, preferably more than one. And then be sure that you're responding and that you are referencing about it, and then tie one of those sources into at least two of the following points. And hopefully you'll have some fun with this one. This is actually a very interesting topic and one that we don't necessarily have a chance to think about that often. So we're going to go back. And that will be your engagement activity. Again, that can be worth a maximum of 10 points, but make sure you follow everything for that opportunity to get the maximum of 10 points with this activity. Learning assessment number 8 is asking you to think about information and technology in a non-Western country. Now, the key thing on this one is that we want you to identify another country that is not Japan or Canada or part of Western Europe. So really think about those parameters. Basically, we're asking you to think about a non-Western country. And we want you to pretend that you do live in that country and do some investigations online about the social media, technology, and the country. Then what we would like for you to do is either submit a text entry box under Submit Assignment, such as here, or you can go to File Upload and upload a paper for the response that you write, perhaps on Microsoft Word or saved as a PDF. But we want you to write 1 to 2 pretty substantial paragraphs from the perspective of a person living in the country that you've chosen, describing the technology that that person would use regularly. We do want you to find and utilize at least 3 outside resources to consider your description. So you may have to explore some resources that are a little bit more non-traditional in academia. So one way that you could approach this is to choose your country, choose the name of a non-Western country, and you could go on Google and you could type in the name of your country and social media, or the name of your country and technology, or the name of your country and information access. And that should lead you to some good articles online and probably some good websites as well that will tell you a little bit more about what is accessible and what is not accessible in that country in terms of social media, technology, and or information access. Then after you write your descriptive paragraph, we do want you to compare the person's experience of information and technology to yours. Also, after you finish writing this, you do want to cite your resources that you consulted for your description in APA style in a reference list. So you need to do that with your text entry or your file upload. And remember, when we go back to some of our previous modules, and we're going to go back here, and I'm going to scroll down. To our previous learning assessment evaluation of sources. And the reason I'm clicking on that is that you may recall in that learning assessment that we gave you some links for citation help. So if you need any help in constructing a reference list in APA for this learning assessment number 8, you can go back to these help links in learning assessment number 3, the evaluation of sources, and check APA citation style help at Excelsior College or at Purdue OWL. And as always, don't hesitate to check with Megan or to check with me if you have any questions in advance, and we are more than happy to help you before these are due. And finally, we're going to scroll back down, and we are going to look at learning assessment number 9. This is the other learning assessment that will be due for the module for this week. This one is designed to let you continue to add to your Wix web portfolio, which of course is part of the final project that you will be submitting for our course. What we want you to do in this one is to start putting together some skills that we've learned throughout the course before we reach the final project, and we'll have an opportunity to give you feedback. So what we want you to do on this one is to find, write, and submit 2 separate sources as entries for the recommended resources section of your final web portfolio. Now for your web portfolio, you will actually wind up with a total of 5 recommended resources. So this is going to kind of put you ahead on doing 2 of the 5. I'm going to show you in just a second how you could do this on Wix for your web portfolio. But what we want you to do, first of all, do not use the sources that you chose from your evaluation of sources assessment. We want you to find 2 new sources. And we want you to find one that is a traditional source of information. And we consider traditional sources to be such as a print book or an e-book, newspaper or journal. You might find that in print, or you might find that in one of the library databases that we have. The second one, we would like for that one to be a non-traditional source. And a non-traditional source could be a YouTube video, it could be a TED Talk, it could be a website, it could be a blog, it could be someone that you have interviewed as a personal interview from an expert in the field. Basically anything that doesn't fall under the context of what we've already defined as a traditional source. And this is a way of just sort of thinking outside the box along the lines that a lot of different resources can be used for information in terms of information literacy. They don't always have to be traditional. Now what we would like for you to do is use this recommended resources worksheet as a guide. And I'm going to preview this. You can also then download this as a Microsoft Word document. And with this one, you would put your citation for your first source, your traditional source, and use MLA or APA, whichever particular citation style you've been using consistently. Read your source very carefully. You do have to have access to your source in full text. You cannot use just something that has an abstract because that's not going to be enough. You need to read or review your source completely and then do an abstract or a summary of the source in your own words. This does have to be a minimum of 5 to 6 sentences. If it's only 2 or 3 sentences, it will be returned to you as incomplete because that's just not going to be enough. Think about describing the source for somebody who doesn't know anything about it. And then evaluate the source in your own judgment as it relates to the topic in another 5 or 6 sentences. Again, consider everything: the scholarship, the credibility, the intended audience, and the overall contribution to your topic. You must go beyond just saying, this is a good source. I would recommend this source. Why? Think about why you would do this based upon what you've been learning so far about your topic. And then you can go ahead and do the same thing for citation number 2. And this will be the rubric that we will use to judge this as complete or incomplete. You're not actually going to submit the worksheet. You can use the worksheet as a guide. However, this is what you are going to wind up submitting instead. I'm going to go back over here. I have logged on to my Wix account, and I'm actually now going to get into my sample web portfolio. This is the same one that you've been working on all along for UL100ZB. And now that I'm looking at my site that I want to edit, I'm going to go to Edit Site. So you are now at the point for your web portfolio where you want to start adding the pages that are required for your web portfolio that will be due in a few weeks. There we go. That finally loaded. So now I'm in my site that I want to go ahead and edit. If you have not already done this, I strongly encourage you to go over here to your Wix site under Home and start changing or relabeling your pages. I've already done this. Remember that you can go to Manage Pages, and you can change the name of your pages, and you can add pages as you need to, depending upon the template that you're using. Change the names of your pages to Overview of Topic, which we'll be going over in the next couple of weeks. You should already have your infographic if you did your infographic assessment. And now you need a page that is called Recommended Resources. Remember that if you go over here, this is where you can actually rename a page. So you want this page to be called Recommended Resources, and I've already done this. And by the way, you can go ahead and add or rename another page Non-Recommended Resources. We're going to be doing this in a couple of weeks as you finish up your web portfolio. And now you see Recommended Resources is actually highlighted here. So I have actually added some text here to call this Recommended Resources. Now, in order to complete this assessment, two things that I could do, or 2 ways that I could do it. One way is to go over here and add a text box, such as a paragraph. I'm actually going to get rid of this one here. And I'm going to move this text box. I'm going to get rid of that one too. And in the text box, when I click on it and click on Edit Text, I could copy and paste my citation and my summary and then my evaluation for both citation number 1 and citation number 2 for the 2 recommended resources. So I could actually copy and paste that text in this, and then once that's taken care of, I can reformat anything. Remember, you're going to have to reformat your citation if you need to put journal titles in italics or put anything in quotation marks, and then make sure that this is all saved. The second way that you could do this is, again, add this text box, go to Edit Text, and if you have written your 2 recommended resources on that recommended resources worksheet and saved it, you could go over here to this link and then go to Document, and then click on Choose File, and you can upload that recommended resources worksheet that has all of your information saved on it. Either way will work. If you do it this second way, this is what I would recommend. I would recommend here on Edit Text, we'll zoom that back out again here. I would recommend clicking here, I'm going to exit this, zoom out. There we are. We'll go back down here. This is what I would recommend. I would click here under Edit Text and write something such as link to my recommended resources file, something like that. And then again, you could highlight this, click again on link, go to Document, and again, this is where you could choose your file to upload your recommended resources worksheet. Or, as I said, you can actually copy and paste that information in this text box, being sure that you reformat everything, including adding any italics for journal titles or book titles as you need to. Either one will work. Again, make sure that this is saved. It should save automatically, but sometimes it's a good idea just to click on Save. Publish. After you've done everything with your recommended resources, copy your Wix site link after you have published it. Go back up here, and when you submit your assignment, you are submitting the website URL that has the recommended resources page saved. That is what Megan and I will look at then when we grade this. One more thing I did want to show you, and this is just sort of a refresher. As you start looking for articles or books or other sources for your recommended resources for your topic, remember again that you will need now to go to www.emporia.edu/library. And that's the new library page with Library Connect. And if you want to find perhaps another article database. This is what we had you do with your research plan. Go to all subjects, find your subject category that would match with something that relates to your topic. So I'm going to go to medicine and health. And under medicine and health, I am going to select Health Source Nursing Academic Edition. This is the actual name of a database that I would want to use. I'm actually searching at my home today. So when you're searching off campus, you would be prompted to enter your ESU username and your password. And we'll let that log in. And I can go to an advanced search. And I'm going to search within the abstract. And I'm going to search for my topic of electronic cigarettes. And let's do health. Health risks or dangers or effects. And again, I'm searching now for a traditional source, such as a journal article. There's some interesting ones here. Now, if I only wanted to find, actually this one looks very interesting, but if I only wanted to find articles that would be available in full text for this assignment, I could click on Limit to Full Text. I'm going to go ahead and go to this one. And since I have the PDF full text available, I can click on this and I can go ahead and read the complete full text to do my summary or my abstract. And there it is. Now, do not use the abstract or the summary that comes with an article, because that's not yours. You did not write that, and that would be plagiarism. We want this in your own words. To find the citation in either MLA or APA, I click Citation Tools. And there's my citation for APA that I could copy and paste, checking to see if there are any errors that I would need to correct. And there's MLA as well. So again, that's just a very quick overview of the way that you can use our Library Connect page and databases. And if you were to go back over here, if you wanted to find any books that were owned by our library, you can go to Libraries and Archives Catalog. And you can search for your topic, such as electronic cigarettes. And if I want to limit this just to perhaps print books that are owned by the library, I can click over here under print books. And I'm going to get some government documents, but those actually might not be too bad for me to take a look at, and I could check those out from the library. There's one called Teen Smoking. That might be kind of interesting. So that's the way that you can find books as well. As always, please contact me, contact Megan before an engagement activity or a learning assessment is due if you're having any difficulties whatsoever, and we're happy to help you. If you wait and then start contacting us after it's due and after the grace period, we are really not going to be able to help you or accept those assessments or learning activities for credit. So always contact us beforehand. I'm going to leave this. The engagement activity will be due by 11:59 p.m. on November 24th with that grace period of 2 days. So the grace period would extend to Tuesday, November 26th at 11:59 p.m. Learning assessment number 8 is actually due on Friday, November 22nd with that 2-day grace period at Sunday, November 24th And finally, learning assessment number 9, recommended resources, will be due on Sunday, November 24th, with that 2-day grace period of Tuesday, November 26th. Good luck with this. Again, let us know if you have any questions at all.